do.
I can't do that.
Okay, so if you are ready to start.
I'm ready.
Wonderful. What is a good life for you?
A good life for me is a life where I get to experience as much of life as I am capable of. So what this means is this co-relationship with life where on one hand I'm trying to create experiences to see what I am made of. And as I discover what I am made of, I get to feel, to discover, and to be changed by life itself. So it's a little bit self-directed by moving maybe out of the routine and automatic way of living that we have as human beings. So that's where the intentionality is. But then it's a complete opening to what the new experience is going to bring from me, how I'm going to show up. And I don't really have a fixed mindset on, in that situation, I know who I'm going to be. From experience now, I know that the situation or the environment, to a large extent, will um, reveal a part of myself that I might not have seen in the past. So a good life is a life where I've got the chance to reveal as much of myself as I possibly can. There is no attachment. Is that a good experience? Is that a bad experience? It's more like you've been given that toy or that, and you want to experience all the functionalities of it. You want to you want to see how much you can do. So it's to use life as a playground, because to stretch to the limit your imagination and curiosity as to what is really possible, for me as an individual. That's how I would describe the good life. A life where there is this flux of surprises and new situations which reveal me, and as I reveal myself, I can look for more. So a good life is that sense of aliveness. That's really good.
So with this sense of alive...
A fierce sense of aliveness.
So with this sense of aliveness, and you're talking about you're looking to experience as much as yourself as possible. And with that, there's a sense of also an expanding of the self. The more you reveal, there's also an expansion of the self as well.
Yeah, it's like if you were, to use a metaphor, it's like if you were a rainbow, and it's to reveal all the colors which are part of the rainbow, and most of our lives and experiences, we tend to say, oh wow, kind of like the blue, so I'm going to stay within the blue range. It's like, some designing my life and creating relationships where, wow, I stay within the blue. I had one situation in my life where life took me completely out of that, made me in a completely different color of my spectrum. And at first there was a desire to, bring me back to the blue, and the shift and the transformation in me was to say, well, no, let's explore what, it was a blackish, it was kind of a blackish color, but what is there for me to discover in the black? Who am I in the black? Could I be curious?
Yeah.
Really embrace the black and ease into wonderment as to, wow.
So with this
yeah.
with this, then there's elements of, you're not saying that experiences are good or bad. There's just a wider range of experiences. And even when you were saying from the blue to the black there, almost, it's not about pursuing what is easy. It's about just trying to see more of the whole of the self.
I think the good or the bad will come in the form of judgment because you will be informed by some emotions. And
Yeah.
some situations you might say, "Ooh, that's comfortable, it's safe, it's good." Yeah? And some situations you will say, "Ooh, it's, um, I don't know, it's new, it's scary." And so I still feel the emotions, which are simply a limitations of my past experiences, but at a meta level, the experience is not good or bad. It's simply
An experience.
it's an experience. It's an expansion. Um,
Yeah.
but I can really now operate at these two different levels between and be informed by say, oh, negative emotions. Hmm, then I'm really curious. Then I really want to pay attention. It's like, wow, something means that it's new. There is something in me which is like not ready for this. What is it?
Yeah. And you were also saying that in a good life, you look to create experiences, but then you're kind of suggesting then as well, if I've understood you correctly, that once you create the experience or the circumstance for there to be change, then there's almost a simultaneous creation, but letting go, like
Yeah,
so that you,
talking by this co-creation. So you intentionally try to create space for this to happen, and when it happens, to surrender.
yeah, which, which isn't always easy, right?
And it's not. It's but
Yeah.
it's
No, no, I
my,
understand. So it's,
it's my philosophy of life, and it's the take I've decided to take on my life. So to
yeah,
use my life as a way to continuously create white space for me to be transformed.
yeah,
But the transformation is not self-directed. It's like being a gardener where you tend to the soil for nature to grow.
yeah.
Yeah,
So it's like a co-creation. You do your part, and then what happens will happen.
yeah.
Yeah,
So the active part is in making sure that I don't overstay in the comfort zone because
yeah,
then nothing happens. So that's where the, the self creation is by saying there is no expansion anymore. It's comfortable. It could be seen by many like the good life, and it's not my definition of the good life because I am no longer being revealed in any ways or form. I'm simply cruising. So there are periods in my life where I also need, some kind of integration, and it's like a little bit of stability is welcome when it is, but it's not a desired state. It's it's a recovery state. It's it's an integration state.
yeah. So there's an acknowledgement too in the good life. It's not like it can be just continuous and seamless expansion. There's with these expansions comes instability, and then when you're almost like in this like holding pattern in a plane or something like this, you're waiting for it to be able to be comfortable or not comfortable enough, but you're waiting to be okay again with a further expansion once you've integrated the lessons that the last expansion has taught you, and that you've reformed again or recalibrated.
And sometimes I have the ability to keep that plateau. Sometimes I don't. But I don't resent the plateau. I say, oh my God, it should be because I think it's a paradox between some continuity and discontinuity, if you see what I mean.
Yeah.
They both have a place, so it cannot be only discontinuity because you continuously are breaking down, if you see what I mean. So the discontinuity is a breaking down for a new integration place. But then you need sometimes some stability for this.
Yeah. And then this element you were saying of in the context of a good life, there's also this part where you're the resting periods are getting you ready to go again, almost like it's almost like a recuperation. But how do you understand then this sense of this desire, this pull to discover more, and then in the context of appreciating what you have?
The analogy I have is very. It's what I see in my garden. It's what the plants do.
Right.
Um, the trees in my garden, basically, they want to grow, and they stop at 22 meters because I live by the sea, and at 22 meters and plus, the air becomes saline, and then it has stops growth. But it's almost like nature, by definition, is expanding. It's like it doesn't have any self-restraint, if you see what I mean. It's only going
Yeah.
to be restrained by external factors. But what is from within is its growth. And I don't see why I would be different from any other living organism who is opportunistically trying to expand. So if you look at a fox, it's going to try to expand its territory.
Yeah. How do you, so this, like, you're saying in terms of a good life, the sense that you need to just, even you're saying creating the white space for you to expand into, but also here you're kind of commenting on the sense that you just, in terms of a good life, to experience a good life, you have to allow naturally what is supposed to happen, almost like this evolution that we're like, if you look in nature, this evolution is happening all around us. So I'm a part of my environment. I'm letting myself evolve and grow. How do you understand then, in terms of this in a good life, other people's paths then, in terms of, do you see them also trying to grow, or what do you observe from your perspective of a good life versus what you see in your surroundings?
Well, I've not always been in that mindset, so I also remember how it's like to not embrace that mindset.
Yeah.
Um, so when I was not in that mindset, I was in, I think I was in a protection mode of whatever I had built, accumulated, and I think I was then using my talents and ability to protect, not necessarily to grow, but to it was a big aversion to loss, and so I traded growth for preservation.
Right.
So what happens, I think, with the mindset I described is, I didn't answer your question just before, which was, and what about the appreciation piece? Because it's like you seem to be always on the move. Yes, but there is some kind of directionality. It seems that that expansion, that expanding my range, is a kind of elimination process of what is no longer needed, and it usually takes the form of, it could be people in your life, it could be coping mechanism, protective layers that you have. So it's not because you're on the move, trying to, as you move, you undress yourself by saying, I don't need this and this, that you don't appreciate and enjoy. To the contrary, because in fact you get to experience more, to feel more, to see more. So there is an underlying current of gratitude and appreciation, which is um, because there is more aliveness. So that is like you get nourished much more. You get stimulated. You get yeah, you get the volume of life, which is higher. Your senses are heightened to some extent. That's where the appreciation is coming from. That's where you say, wow, wow, how can it be so fulfilling? How can it be so enjoyable? There doesn't seem to be a name to it.
So with this curiosity, with this idea of life as a playground and this expansion simultaneously happening, it seems like more in your appreciation of a good life now, more things become worthy of gratitude. Like, perhaps like even like you need less to feel grateful than in the terms of what we previously would have seen in protection mode and holding on to things and aversion to loss.
Yeah, because it's almost like your. So the analogy you could use is like I was talking about removing these layers of protection. So all this a heavy cloak and then an undercloak uh, and so because you start to strip yourself from this, you get in sync with what is happening much more. You get to feel. You get to be so much more sensitive. So you don't need more of food.
Yeah.
You need less because it's uh, you don't need more comfort. You probably need, if you see, less. It's like you reawaken your senses.
So is it kind of like the more you reveal of yourself?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
So you
Sorry,
get
I wasn't trying. I couldn't hear you there. So I didn't want to speak over you.
so as you get to sense more, you connect more to the essence of everything, and the essence is very potent. It's very nourishing. It's very strong. It's the essence is of everything is a more primal, raw form of energy. So it has not been refined or and so it's like you get to nourish yourself from the source more and and it's very potent stuff. Yeah.
So it's almost the inner process is being kind of matched on in the external world in a sense, like because the more you're revealing of yourself, the more wonder you're revealing outside of yourself and like in the essence of things that you're capable of seeing. Like it's kind of what's happening internally also manifests externally in your like within your as your relationship with yourself and more more is revealed in what you're perceiving outside of yourself as well.
Yeah, I think so. It's the more you reveal within yourself, um, the less barriers between you and what is to be seen. And
Hmm.
so it's not like your environment is changing. It's simply like you relate to it in a way where, I mean, let me give you an example.
I know what you're saying makes perfect sense. Like this, I feel what you're saying right now. Yeah.
So I don't need to give you an example, but uh, yeah, but still, I'm going to, for 15 years of my life, I was um, really traveling a lot. Every single holiday for work, we lived in different countries. In New Zealand, so even to go back to Europe, we had to kind of go around the world, and we would always stop in places. And so it was like, wow, it's amazing, the diversity of landscape. But to feel something, I really had to be in a spectacular landscape. You know,
Mm.
if you don't show me a canyon like the Grand Canyon, the freaking Bailey Canyon in Poland, I'm going to say, yeah, well, yeah, oh, yeah, I see it, but it's like a dump. No, I'm talking about,
Yeah.
And then I got my wife had she had leukemia for 3 years, and so our life completely changed, and we
Is
ended up.
she okay now?
Yeah, she's okay. Yeah, and
Ah, cool.
we ended up in the Netherlands, where my my range moved from 12-hour flight for the next holiday to 10K bike ride. That was basically what was my range was. Okay,
Yeah.
and in the Netherlands, of all places. Okay, and for 3 years I was walking or cycling always the same path, and it was a universe to be discovered.
Mm. When you say that, it makes me think. Before coming to Berlin, I'm from Ireland originally. I met my wife in northern India 5 years ago, and she's from Germany. And after we left India together, we spent some time in North America, and then about a year in Peru, and then maybe another 6 months between India and Bali. And there's some moments where I'm walking along, like Berlin's a great place, but I'm walking around a very gray city. It's gray outside, and all of a sudden I burst out like with a spontaneous laughter, and I've understood something or I felt something. And I don't need, we were in the Sacred Valley in Peru. I don't need the mountains all around me to experience a feeling of like awe or wonderment. Like there's lots to just experience wherever I am.
True. Um, and this means that you've been able to sensitize you so much that you can't find on a market in Berlin um, overwhelming experience.
Mm. Yeah.
so,
Yeah.
so what I'm trying to say with this is like where you were talking about the inside is being changed by the outside and the outside by the inside. The outside is always there, but we can only take from the outside what we are capable of taking from the outside.
Yeah.
Because in fact, all this, it's not only protection mechanism from a psychological perspective, it's simply a filtering of a reality which is overwhelming to the senses. So we have all these filters because, in a way, to be able to function in the world, we can only deal with, I need judgment, I need beliefs, I need assumptions, I need this and that, because if I was going to take like the whole experience, like an Indian market during Russia, it's like I'm paralyzed. I'm overwhelmed
Mm.
emotionally, psychologically, uh, uh, experience-wise. It's just too much. You know, India is a good metaphor for this about how overwhelming it can be. So what we talk about here is to say, good life is when you know. You were asking me just before, what do you think about the other people? I live in a very rich neighborhood near the Hague, and so the people here have very large garden, gated communities, and my neighbors, when I talk to them, they're like no nonsense, smart, practical, but they've made their life, despite the very big garden and stuff, so small that it's like, life, it's not such a big deal. It's they can have their life in their pocket. It's like, life, yeah, well, that's a business I manage pretty well. I mean, what's a big deal about life? It just and so I understand because I've been there.
Yeah.
What we talk about here is to say, wow, no, the good life is, if life is asking you anything, but probably life is not asking you anything, but the nature, the essence of nature is, can you grow as big as you can be with life? It's like, life is not a ball to put in your pocket. Life is a dancing partner and saying, do you want to dance with me?
It's very funny you say that, because I was about to suggest that it's almost a little bit the other way around, that when you create the white space, you're asking life to dance with you, because this co-creation thing. And then life will dance with you once you create the space, or clear the dance floor, or ask the question.
And life really is not about, if you want to dance with life, it's not about um, how much can you do, it's how much can you be. So
Yeah.
it's by growing yourself that you start to experience the thing, which is like that dancing partner. It's like, and the more you grow and the more you say, how is that even possible? And that's where the sense of wonderment is. You become
Mm.
childlike, not childish, childlike. My neighbors are childish because they are in the doing part. But their being is so small, they cannot dance with life. Because, it's like if you go to a nightclub and imagine, you get invited by, imagine a dance floor, which is like a chessboard, okay? My neighbors would be being invited to dance with life would be okay, but I need to know in 2 minutes if I am going to be in B4
Yeah.
because I want to be in B4. It's not a dance. I mean, if you start
So
to dance and you say in 2 minutes I need to be in that square on the dance floor, it's, well, I don't know, but in my experience on dance floor, it's not the way it works. It's simply you get being transported. You get lost in the experience of being with that movement. Um, it's in the movement. It's not where you're going to be after 2 minutes. It's not.
so there's in terms of what you're saying there, in a good life, there is like a trust in the unfolding, like and almost like a trust in myself, that I can put myself in circumstances where I don't know what the result will be, or I don't know what the
It's more than
the
a
chain
trust.
reaction.
It's more than a trust. It's an embracing. It's surrendering to the unfolding. It's even an invitation to the unfolding. I think.
Hmm. Can you talk to me a little bit about how you moved from a state of, kind of thinking more around aversion to loss and protecting what you had, to moving into the space that you're currently experiencing?
Yeah. By being broken down,
Right.
by resisting life, by not willing to embrace what was happening, and I have tremendous resilience and stamina and intellectual prowess, and it was like being in a river and try to walk upstream. At best, you can't stand still, and that's what I did until I broke down. And and when I did, um, yeah, it was at the end of the 3 years with my wife because she had leukemia, but then she had a stem cell transplantation, which means she had a new immune system from a donor. And can you imagine if you get a organ transplant, you can have like a rejection from your own body, but now she had a new immune system who cured her from the leukemia, that was attacking every single organ of her body. And so she moved into a terrible quality of life where she had a huge autoimmune reaction. And because we had lived overseas for a very long time, kids in New Zealand, always 5 of us, like 5 fingers of the hand, she asked me to take care of her and not to have like a professional help because it was less confronting. I mean, if my husband can do it, it's not that bad. It was bad. So I became a nurse, and for 6 months of the treatment, she was at the hospital. We had just moved into a new country. We bought a house before the leukemia, so I had to use all the project management skills I could muster to get kids to a new education system back in Europe. I was in a new country, didn't speak the language. We had contractors, Polish people working in this house. She was at the hospital. I was bringing blanks and pictures for what we were going to buy. And I remember a specialist telling me, likes people with a positive outlook, but this I've never seen. I've never seen a guy coming with planks to get his wife to choose for what is going to be the floor in the kitchen. But this was kind of okay. I switched off. I was on survival mode. So I did this. She came back. But to become a nurse, I had to bring my humanity and I had to bring the emotions. And when they came back, it was like, wow. You can't switch the tap off your emotions, but not selectively. So during my project management time periods, I didn't feel the strong negative feelings, but I didn't feel anything at all.
Yeah.
When I said if I want to care, I need to bring some emotion, but everything came back. But life is cruel because I realized after 3 years that you are the least capable of taking care of the people you love the most. Why? Because compared to a professional nurse is here to make you comfortable. But the doctor is in charge of the treatment. There's a guy with like, it's a life and death expectations. The nurse is like, I want to make you good today. Why can't we do? In my case, the more I was nursing her, the more she felt she was letting me down because she was not progressing anymore. And so, keep it short, at the end of the 3 years, we were coming back from a holiday, which was worse on any other holiday because she was always sick on holiday, and it's worse when you're not in your home. And I confronted her and I said, how is that working for you? And she said, well, it's not working for me, what you're doing. Thanks, man. Carrying the cross for the last 3 years, that's, that became completely selfless. And she said, yeah, but when I wake up in the morning, I feel like at the bottom of a well, and I look, and there is a small ring of light. And the first thing I see is your shadow. You cast a shadow on me because you scan through my face, starting to wonder how good or bad the day is going to be. And it creates a huge expectation. And I said, okay, how would you like? And she said, well, when we met, you used to be that bundle of light, and now you've become a shadow. Bring me back the light. Don't try to save me. Bring me back the light. I said, I don't know. I don't know if I'm capable of doing it. I don't know if I'm capable of allowing myself to be me in this situation. I mean, I'd simply like all my conditioning, my relationship to what it means to love, etc. I was like, there is no way. But she said, if you want to do something, do it. And so I went in, and everything was like, a Syrian city. Everything was my beliefs, my assumptions, I didn't know anything. But the only thing which was left was, and I could see it because everything was uh, depleted out there, was a spark. And I did the hardest thing I've ever done in my life was to give myself permission to bring the spark when
Yeah.
when everything in me, every fiber of my beings were telling me it's not right to spark when I should be alone in the bed. How do you dare to bring joy, humor, um, lightness in a situation like this? And this is what broke me. This is where I had to let go of a part of me which was in control, which was what is right, what is not right, how do you need to behave. This had to die. And when this died, a lot of things happened. I left my job. I went back to university. Everything which kept me into being afraid dissolved. Dissolved. And then I made my purpose to be the sparks that bring you back to your glow, because we all have that glow, and it's just in me. It takes that fierce form. So it's simply like this is what I do. I bring the spark so people can remember to glow. That's my job with my clients. That's my job with my kids. That's my job with the baker when I buy a baguette. And my so what is a good life for me? It's not what I do. It's how much of the spark I can bring. Because by bringing the spark in any situation, it's expanding my range. It's simply, it's one of the way I am expanding my range by helping people. But it's not the only way. But it's my daily practice, and I've made my job my daily practice to remind myself to be this every single day, to be confronted with people who are not glowing anymore. And so I am living the good life.
It's kind of incredible what we can perceive as good or bad times. Like if only looked at in as only a single episode, how if we don't look at the entirety of our life.
So yeah, I think time as an aspect, I mean, what gives you the meta view is not only time, but it's also that, because we look always at things in a very static fashion. And so
Yeah.
by contrast, we say, okay, a few reference points, that's what it is. What is a gift? What is a curse? It's only a question of time.
Yeah.
Your success can be your worst curse ever. And I just wrote a post this week, which is where I explain why reaching rock bottom is usually a turning point in your life.
Yeah, it's a gift.
Well, it's a gift, yeah, and not because all of a sudden you see the light. It's simply because rock bottom, by definition, like it was in my case, in that situation, was when she told me, it's not working. It was like, I don't ever want to feel like this anymore. So it's no longer about the leukemia, and I don't know what created it, but you change a shift from that shitty situation to, doesn't matter what it is out there here. What I feel now is on me, and that way of feeling, I no, I that's where you claim, you take a stance where you say this will stop. And that's why you engage on a journey of saying, well, and to remove that feeling, I need to remove some beliefs, I need to remove some assumptions, I need to remove the way I experience that situation with a sick wife. So I had to rewire myself, To let
But
go of many things that I've taken on, which are maybe, but not maybe, which are not working, which are in that situation show me the limitation of what they are.
it sounds so powerful in terms of here you are looking at a sick partner, and then she's actually looking back on you thinking like, where's your spark? Like what are you doing to your, like, you know, she's also reflecting back on you what she used to see and what she now sees. And there's like a kind of a, not a sickness, but a decline in what she sees as your life force almost through your own life experience up until that point.
Yeah, and what was behind that? I mean, I'm not sure she realized at the time, but for me to be a nurse, I needed a patient. No, because I mean,
No, I hear you.
no, but the
Yeah.
story doesn't stop there. Within a week, without any change in the medical treatment, at the time we used to go to the hematologist twice a week. Can you imagine? Twice a week, you're lying in that fucking waiting room and say, "How bad is that going to be?" That's a life we have. And I remember he opened the door and he said, "What happened? Not to me, to her. Skin was good. She had like." And honestly, that was a turning point in her recovery. So I'm not asking you to believe in a miracle, but it was a turning point. That burden of guilt, that burden of creating so much disappointment, of ruining the life of her husband when she could free herself from this.
Yeah.
She could take care of herself. She started to heal. Honestly.
You know, I don't even think that sounds like like a miracle to me. That just makes sense. You know, like I think there's so much outside of, you know, scientific proof that we say it can, this is the way it can be. But even if you understand how we interpret the universe, it's 95% dark energy and dark matter, which means we don't know what it is. You know, so I think there's so many things that happen and that contribute to our well-being that we don't even understand yet. And how you described that, that sounds like a logical sequential way that the events pass, that you guys had this experience between yourself and then there was a profound effect on her.
So that was a discontinuity for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the rest has been a new trajectory, which is very much a mindset I was describing to you. And so things have started to accelerate. In the past, where I was looking for success, I was like, turning my back, still in the river, and trying to push a river. And if you look from the shore, it's
Yeah.
that guy pushing the river doesn't need to be pushed. Honestly,
Yeah, it's a nice way to put it.
what does he think he's doing? You see what I mean?
Yeah, no, I hear you. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
since I've stopped resisting the river, since I've stopped pushing the river, I am with the river, and it's simply unfolding as it should. And because it's unfolding as it should, I don't need to know what's next.
Yeah.
Simply to cultivate the trust, the surrendering, and the embracing. No matter what, no matter what. That's what I've learned. No matter what. To not be in the judgment about it. Could it be my own death? Could it be no matter what?
Yeah. So even with this attitude of embracing, and even if it means my own death, that kind of echoes what you've said earlier when we were talking at the very start, when you're saying a good life is, you know, to experience as much of life as possible and this expansion into whatever the next experience may be.
It's to be in life,
Yeah.
with life, in life. We're not born here to, I was not born here to be the Messiah or to rescue people or, no. I'm here as an expression of life.
Yeah.
So my way of honoring and being grateful for that opportunity I've been given to be an expression of life is to be a fucking expression of life. Is to be
Yeah.
it, to be with it.
And then with that though, there's also this like parallel between the trees you're describing near the sea though, like that you just, when you give over the trust, you just take it as far as you can go. Like what you're capable of, you know, when you're saying I'm not a messiah, but what somebody is capable of in terms of being in their workplace and having aversion to loss and all of these things, like that may be a range of different things for different people. Like our expression of life, it can mean different things for different people, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, that's just, I'm looking at the time now, and that's and that's past the 45 minutes. But Jean-Christophe, I really I thank you for your time and for sharing with me. I really, really enjoyed that.
Was it a typical what is a good life discussion? You must
You
have.
know, they've come in all shapes and sizes so far. So it's, some have gone like this. You know, my background as well is like, about 6 years ago, I came to things like meditation and journaling and reading and writing certain philosophies, going on silent retreats, and even experimenting a little with psychedelics sometimes. And sometimes people have had experiences where a bit like this, that I think I get to become more the viewer of the conversation than the interviewer, which is it's a really beautiful thing. So no, yeah, that was a very touching experience, and thank you very much for even sharing the experience with your wife and the honesty in which you're sharing that in terms of the point to which you guys got to, and then the beautiful growth that came from reaching that point. Yeah, I'll really enjoy if you can send on the video to that too, because I kind of stopped taking notes at different times too, because I was just properly entranced by the conversation. So I thank you for that.
I should make a webcast out of it. No, I will send you the recording.
Thank you very much. Yeah, look, thank you for your time. I greatly appreciate it, and it was a pleasure hearing your ideas on a good life, and how your perspectives on how you experience that as well.
Perfect. And we connected, so who knows?
Yeah, yeah, we can. I'd love to talk again if the opportunity presents itself.
Perfect. Bye bye.
Okay, take care.